Get your daily dose of encouragement. Welcome to the Daily Dose with Coach V.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Daily Dose. You're here with your host, Coach V. And this month we are discussing Boundaries, Freedom's Line. Last week we discussed accepting what is yours. And this week, week 2, we're going to discuss releasing what is not. Now, during this week, we're going to discuss codependency. We're going to discuss how to set up boundaries and how to be able to sustain them. We invite you to grab your copy of Boundaries, Freedom's Line. It's a mental health support journal that me, Coach V, I actually published. I think it's been 3 years ago now. And this has been a life changer for me. I literally took all the tools that God downloaded to me in a season when I needed to set up healthy boundaries. After some very toxic friendships and relationships, and I realized patterns were taking place in my life, and I knew that I was the person who needed to make the changes in order to ensure that I live a life that is the abundant life that God created me to live, which meant that I had to eliminate certain toxicity or certain toxic relationships from my life. So this week, again, we're talking about how to release what is not yours, letting those things go. Last week, we addressed making sure that we cast all our cares upon God because He cares for us, and knowing that He is the one that we're supposed to take our burdens to. So this week, we're talking about accountability. And making sure that we are being accountable for what is ours. And that's why we're addressing the topic of codependency. So with codependency, there's several different things that, proofs, check markers, evidence of patterns of if you are codependent. I want you to know, first of all, codependency, there's a fix. It's really honestly us setting up healthy boundaries in our lives. Boundaries are holy. God has boundaries. He even gave boundaries to the earth. He put boundaries in place for the sea and the beaches and the bodies of water. They can only go so far. It's not that the sand is so much stronger than the ocean or the sea. It's just that God set up boundaries for them and they continue to obey the boundaries. God set up for the sun to come up in the day and for the moon to light up the night, and those stick to the boundaries set by God. So how do we operate in divine power so that we live a life where boundaries are honored in our lives as well? Well, one of the first things we want to do is make sure that we understand why we are in the situation that we're in as far as like not having healthy boundaries. So often we can just say, hey, here are your check marks. Here are the things you need to do. Put these boundaries in place. I want you to know that I understand exactly how difficult setting boundaries and holding to those boundaries are. And so we're going to talk practically and just be real about the need to establish boundaries. You not being able to have them can be caused by many things. It could be caused by things that happen in your childhood, things that happen in your adult life, mindsets that have been instilled in you that you didn't even realize was a mindset, but you just thought was the right way to live your life, and it was not. So what we're going to do is examine all those things. We do that here at the Daily Dose. We do it across all of our platforms, from Words Create blog on Mondays to social sessions on IG on Tuesdays to mindful moments on Wednesday, and then on Thursday we have Work It Thursday, and then Friday's our Faithful Day. It's that day that we just sometimes it's prayer, sometimes it is just rest, but we cover it through every single thing. If you want, sign up for our subscribers list. You'll get links to all of these different things, including some of the freebies that will be given away on Wednesday. We've partnered with a creator from the UK. Her name is Kat Griffin, and 80 other, actually 80 plus now, other business owners and creators who will be giving things away for you to help you to better manage stress during the holidays and any other stressful time in your life. So all of those things, you'll find out all that information. You'll get early access to BOGOs and all kind of promotions on the website and all of those great things. So just follow us here, but also follow us. Go to mindingwhatmattersnow.com so that you can stay in the loop with us, right? So tonight we're going to talk about why, and not the why that we talked about last week of why am I here? How did I get here? Because we examined that. We examined our hearts last week. But this week we're going to talk about why. We're going to talk about, first of all, and why is the acronym. It stands for what, how, and you, YOU. So what? the what in this is not what caused it, but it is actually the what caused. As far as what caused, actually, I take that back. So it's not what caused us to be maybe in a place where we don't have boundaries, but it's the what that is now causing us to establish the boundary. So we can be in a relationship and the relationship can be going really well, whether it's friendship, marital, romantic, whatever it is. But something can happen that may make you feel uncomfortable, may violate your rights, your personal space, your whatever. So what is the thing? What caused you to know that you needed to set a boundary? That's where we're going to start. So you're going to start there, and then you're going to go to the how. How do I make an adjustment to this? How do I set up this boundary? Like, what are the requirements? How am I going to go about either restoring this level of relationship and respect in this relationship, or how am I going to exit it? And so it's the what, it's the how, and then the why is you. Because we want to always remember that we are worth it. Not because we are arrogant, not because we believe that we are greater than anyone else, but because God has said so. He knows that He has said that we are so worth it that He sent Jesus to die and shed His blood for us, for forgiveness of our sins, so that we can be redeemed back to God. His value on us never changes, no matter what relationship we're in, what relationship we're not in, how much money we have, how much money we don't have, whatever your current situation, whatever your future situation, whatever your past situations, none of those things get to determine your value. God has already determined that value. And so we want you to remember that as you're setting these boundaries, you're setting up, though, you're naming the what, you're saying how this can bring this back to a place that's acceptable for me, that you remember that you are absolutely deserving of all of the respect and honor that you are requesting. You don't have to be exactly on the same level financially with the person you're requesting this respect from, or whatever, because sometimes there are times when dynamics in a relationship is different, whether it's marriage, romantic, friendship, whatever. One person may have more money, one person may have more, be more popular, whatever. None of those things determine whether or not you deserve to be respected as an individual, a human being. So we want you to remember to celebrate you in the process. So there will be, there's going to be a link actually in the bio or the description of this YouTube video where you will be able to actually download a worksheet that will help you to name the what, the break down the how, and then write some really great things about you and write some reminders there. For me, one of my things I did, I hung up a quote by Henry Cloud that says, "Never go back if the reason why you left is still there." And once I heard that, it was during a sermon by Dr. Darius Daniels. And once I heard that, it resonated with me in this season where I needed to let go of a toxic relationship, a relationship that no longer served me. And so what I did was I also made a little note on that, and I hung it up over my desk. And the note on there was a total of how many years I had invested in that relationship. And so it came out to be like 1,000,000 and some odd minutes or hours or something like that. It was 3,650 days or months. It was 3,650 months. And it was like, you know what? At this point, after walking through all of this with you, being by your side, standing by you, helping you build your business and helping you build all of these things, being your prayer covering, being all of these things, if after all of that time, you still remain to be selfish, to be uncommitted completely. You remained whatever all the things were that were never really serving me. I was able to say, you know what, Vivian, you are more valuable than this. And sometimes we look at it and we think, well, I've invested all this time, I need to stay. No, sometimes you need to look at it as I've invested all this time with still no inkling towards the results that's required for this relationship to really be healthy. So that time was never wasted for me. I spent that time loving, blessing, covering, doing all the things God put me in this earth to do. And I know that I'm absolutely rewarded from God, by God, for those things that I've done. So I have no bitterness in my heart. I have no unforgiveness in my heart. I won't say that I have not had times of anger or frustration, but the things that I remember since I've set my healthy boundaries was to remember that I set these boundaries because I found value in me, and that's okay. It's absolutely, honestly necessary so that we can absolutely walk fully in the calling and purpose of God on our lives. So whether you have to do something like track your the time you invested, or put a saying up so that you can remember, hey, I'm valuable. Hey, this I did this for a reason. Because it's really easy sometimes to forget why we set a boundary, especially if you're dealing with a narcissistic person, a selfish person, if you're dealing with a person who has violated you or abused you in any way, and has convinced you in the past that you were deserving of that, or maybe that you just didn't love them enough, or whatever it was. It's easy if that person comes back and says all of the right things or does all of the right things, right, to forget why you set this boundary up in the first place. Now, also, along with setting up the boundaries, we can have certain markers and things that say, hey, if this person is able, if they're willing to make a commitment, go to counseling, and really make an effort, there's nothing wrong with at a time when there has been growth shown to adjust your boundaries. But we're going to talk about all that later on in this week. I really had not planned to get this deep, but I always obey the Lord and follow the Holy Spirit, because somebody today needs to know that you are worthy. Somebody today needs to know that just because you've invested that time does not mean your time is wasted. God has promised to redeem the years that the cankerworm and the locust ate up. And he will even redeem time that we sometimes may be the cankerworm and the locust, right? We may be the ones who caused it, or whatever, but God will redeem that time for you. So I want to encourage you today, stick with us, continue to follow us. If you need some additional support, such as coaching or courses, come and visit us at mindingwhatmattersnow.com. I love to walk with you through this season of life. Well, until tomorrow, you have been here at the Daily Dose, where we promise to give you your daily dose of encouragement. I'm Coach V, and I'll see you tomorrow. God bless.
Thank you for joining us at the Daily Dose. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share with others.